Log 8 of June 2024, 5:55 AM. Time to get prepared for the off-road biking day towards the Istrian part of the ACT Trail Croatia. The entire ACT Trail Croatia is 835 kilometers long. I started the first section just after Pula and planned to ride 200 kilometers up to Opatija in one day and then return to Labin on the highway. The images you see here right now are not yet from the actual ACT Trail. They are from my journey on the section from Pula to Vodnjan, although there were already a few off-road treats there too. I'll let you know as soon as we turn onto the ACT section. I just realized that I haven't mentioned anything about what the ACT is exactly. ACT stands for Adventure Country Tracks. It is an association registered in Germany that operates through Europe. Since 2023, you have to be a registered member of the association in order to be able to download the GPX tracks on their website for onboard navigation. Alright, now we are off to the ACT Trail for 200 kilometers. Have fun! I definitely had.
Wrong way!
I made my first long stop at one of the several fjords on the peninsula. This one is called Limski Zaliev. I was really surprised that something like this exists here. Until then, I always thought that fjords only exist in Scandinavia, but you never stop learning.
Wrong way! I thought we were supposed to drive up to this wonderful castle, but well, let's see.
The overall difficulty of the trail is rated as medium to high with 75% off-road. However, the off-road part on my section was only 55% and the difficulty level was easy, which honestly didn't quite meet my expectations. I've already ridden harder sections of the TED and other routes in recent years. Driving alone, it is better to be on the safe side. I have had to experience this in a few times in form of falls in the last 3.5 years that I have been driving off-road. These events always ended well, but you only have one guardian angel and he might not always and exclusively have time for you. A trail that is labeled easy doesn't mean that you won't sweat at all. You often spend half the day standing on the footpegs of your bike, and you have to constantly reassess the terrain, react in time, and adapt your driving speed.
Why are the roads so slippery? Roads are actually worse than off-road here.
Right. And that was exactly what was my downfall on this trip. After what felt like 10 minutes of dripping, the road was already as slippery as soap. I already knew this from my motorcycle trip to Krk about 20 years ago, and yet, at a speed of about 50 kilometers per hour on, let's call it normal tarmac, it pushed both of my wheels to the side at the same time. But more on that in a minute. First of all, it's time for a cappuccino break in a nice classic coffee bar in the beautiful town Motovan. To me, the name said it. Okay, back to the story about my crash. The only way for me to correct the situation without crashing onto the hard asphalt was to go into the grassy embankment on the right-hand side of the road. Although I came to a more or less upright stop, the right half of my motorcycle had dug into the dirt. And my fears about what had often happened to me in such incidents came true again here. When I had somewhat removed the dirt from the motorcycle, I saw that my foot brake lever was bent backwards by 180 degrees and was right on the footrest, with the footplate. Luckily, the position was such that the brakes did not yet engage. Nevertheless, it was of course not possible to continue driving like this. I looked around and saw that on the next hill there was a hall that obviously belonged to a metalworking company. The young helpful owner was there immediately, and with combined forces and the help of pipes and rods, we managed to get the brake lever almost completely back to its original position. Later, however, I discovered that the brake cylinder also had been damaged. It was now leaking, so I had fun again when I got home, replacing it with a new one. There is at least one advantage to off-road motorcycling over cycling. You can see so much more beauty of the landscape and surroundings in a much shorter time, which makes a trip seem much longer than it actually was. For example, when I go on a trip that lasts a week, the impressions are so wonderful to me that looking back it feels like I was away for 2 or even 3 weeks.
A huge insect just hit my right eye. This hurts. Ugh. I mean, you know, you cannot always keep the visor closed, right? I mean, first of all, it's hot. Then, you know, the visor can be dirty or dusty. And, you know, if you go slow, you want to focus on the trail, right? I think still I will keep the visor down now. Let's just check. How long does this off-road trail still go? I mean, it's funny shit or whatever you want to call it. Probably it's all off-road now. Let's hope not. My eye. Maybe it was a butterfly. So let's move. Traction control off. Okay.
Especially nowadays, when almost every German has a mountain bike or even an e-mountain bike, and hiking is a mass activity, there are many critical voices, especially from this side when it comes to motorcyclists. This faction is constantly growing, and of course people like me who like motorcycling and off-road driving are the target of suspicion. My opinion on this: live and let live.
Whoa, at last some road again. That was a really long off-road trail. Oh. And you know, there's pretty lots of loose gravel every now and then, which makes it really hard to maneuver. But fortunately, no crash, nothing, so...
And that meant off to Opatija and its coast. And then the quickest way back to the holiday home, via the state road along the coast. Although the quickest way is relative, as you will soon find out. Okay guys, I think it's the end of the ACT for today, because we are shortly before Rijeka, and actually I've more than fulfilled my plan for today. Maybe I will do another section of the ACT, but that was the first one, and yeah, I definitely have enough for today. Now head back home and yeah, rest, eat something, rest and sleep early, I guess. The coastal road from Opatija towards Labin, besides the few sandy beaches in Istria, is actually well made. But what good is that if it's almost always clogged with vehicles? And I cannot always overtake easily, even on my motorbike. Firstly, because it's difficult to get an appropriately free view in many places, and it's therefore dangerous. And secondly, because there are seemingly endless zones with 30 km per hour. A wonderful good morning everyone. So, I'm still a bit exhausted from this off-road trail yesterday, but it was really great. Anyway, my GoPro failed yesterday, so the recordings are now always totally blurry. Maybe I can get the device replaced or repaired when I'm back home. For the rest of this holiday, I will then provide videos only from my phone. Maybe I will do another off-road trail throughout the next days if the weather allows it, or maybe I will do some sightseeing, you know, maybe check out Pula and maybe, you know, do some off-road riding on the way. Let's be surprised. I loved my stay in Pula. Sightseeing at its best. Huh. Did they just snatch something from Rome and set it back up here in Pula? It has a lot of history to offer, especially from Roman times. With a population of just over 50,000, the city is pleasantly manageable. On the way back home, I passed another fjord. And another wonderful bay at a hot and sweaty day. You guess what? I'm gonna take a swim now. The perfect opportunity for cooling down. So that's where I came down with the KTM in order to find this nice bay. Now I have to get up again, inevitably. Very loose gravel actually. Big stones, but yeah, we came down, so it should be possible to make it again. The story about my Istria trip does not end here. A third part will come soon, maybe a fourth, we'll see. Thanks for watching, see you soon, Namaskar.